But I want to talk about the in and out aspect of arguments, which some of you had questions about yesterday. Okay, so when we pass arguments, I use the term arguments and parameters interchangeably, okay? Some books call one formal and one actual. I use either arguments or parameters. So if I create a function such as calculate area, let's look at this guy. And I have length, and I have width, and I have a third argument called area. And I then say area equals length times width. So this is a real short guy. These are the formal arguments. When I call this guy, what must go inside the parentheses? 3 integers. 3 integers, okay? So the first two could be numbers, actual numbers, or they could be variables. Okay, but let's do the following. So let's say that I call it this way. What do we call these guys? These are called the actuals. Okay? Now, if I'm going to call calc area, let's look at length and width first. Alright? So when I call calc area, there must already be values in L and W. Agreed? Because the whole idea of calc area is I'm passing length and width into the function. I'm passing length and width into the function. Does everybody see that? So one method when I pass an argument and I'm sending it into the function, that is done how? What is the parameter passing method by default? What is the parameter passing method if I don't do anything, just declare the argument? Pass by value. Okay, so we've got formal arguments. Make sure you know that term and understand that term. We have actual arguments. The only thing that has to be true with actual is there must be the same number of arguments and they must match in type. What you call them, this function doesn't care. It's like this function set up 3 slots and said, I'm taking the first guy, I'm calling it length. I'm taking the second guy, I'm calling it width. I don't care what you call it. Just you put it in that slot. Does that make sense? So the formal arguments and actual arguments do not have to have the same name. Okay? Now, because I just declared these as integers with no special arrangements, this is called pass by value. Remind me what pass by value means again. The actual argument is copied into the formal argument. That's pass by value. So if L has a 5, what does length get? 5. And because it's copied, it cannot be changed inside the function because it just has a copy of it. You give a copy of your will inside that first slot. I take the copy. I can't change the original. I don't have access to the original. Okay? So pass by value is when you are sending something into the function and you don't intend it to be changed. Does that make sense? In this case, when I call, so I know length, I know width. Do I know area when I call calculate area? No. I'm expecting them to send it out to me. Do you see? Okay? So this time I use pass by value to copy length, L into length. I use pass by value to copy W into width. This guy I use pass by reference. And reference means that area, what? The formal argument, what? So the formal argument gets the address of the actual argument. So if A is at location 1000, which is not really a true location most likely, okay? This guy gets the location 1000, and if I change area here, I'm changing whatever was there. Okay, so if the answer is, if this was a 5, and this was a 10, and this is a 50, I'm changing it at the location. Remember I said, I know where you live. Okay? If I know where you live, it's a threat, right? Okay? So since the formal argument has the address of the actual, it can change it. So this is an example where you didn't have a value and you want the value to come out. No, you don't have, area probably was empty. So I'm passing length and width into calc area, and I want them to put the answer in my A. Now, I have another option for that. What's another option besides writing a void function in here? Yeah, I could have written a value returning function, right? I could have written a value returning function. Let me bring up the compiler and I'll show you the difference between using pass by reference and using a value returning function. All right, so let's look at the two options. And this is sort of the thing that you need to understand because okay, well, let's watch the difference. All right, so I'm going to come back to this problem because this example we did yesterday, I'll make it bigger. This example we did yesterday is an important one to understand pass by reference, but I'll come back to it. First of all, I want you to understand the difference of when I would use something like calc area. Okay, so now I'm going to write this function, and we'll watch the couple of differences that can happen. Okay, so then this is just simply area equals length. So this function does exactly what I said it would do. It's not printing it, it's just calculating it. Does everybody agree? It's doing exactly what it says. So now when I call this guy, we say calc, and I can either give it numbers. All that matters is that I have to pass it 2 integers. Now the last guy cannot be a number. Why not? Why can this not be? A reference variable cannot be a number because I can't change the number, agreed? So the last guy has to be an argument, or a variable, I'm sorry. And I could call it area. So let me ask you this question. Does the name of an actual argument have to match the name of a formal argument? Can the name of a formal actual argument match the formal argument? Yes. So this could be A, could be A, it doesn't matter. So long as it's declared here, we don't care what it's called. Does that make sense?
What's best practice?
Well, the thing is, when you write this guy, you have no idea. So the idea of a function is multi-use. So who knows? So now then, this is room area. Now, if I want to see what the answer is, I'm not seeing it. So how would I see what the answer of room area is? What do I have to do? I have to see out it after the call. Let's just run this so you can see the difference with the calling it. Hopefully I didn't make any mistakes. Okay. All right, so it says area is 20. Now, any questions about, first of all, let's make sure you understand this, okay? So this is a void function. I began it with a verb. I have 2 guys that are, these are the formal arguments, length and width. What is the scope of length? Local to calc area. Arguments are local to the function in which they're declared, okay? What is the scope of width? The scope of length in this case is local to calc area. And the scope of area is, so therefore if I wanted to make this guy, so let's change it now from 4 and 5. If I want to make this length and width, that's perfectly fine, right? Because they each have their own local length and width are common names. I'm not going to prohibit other functions from using them, right? But I have to know length and width before I call, so I'd have to ask the user. So most likely I could put this into a loop, and I'll use 0, 0 to stop this loop. And then I can keep, I put it in a loop, blah, blah, blah. We all know how to do that now because, we're just basically learning the tool how to use functions. So I can enter any length and width, and so if I enter 5 and 5, it is 25. If I enter 0 and 0 now, okay? So we're just moving, okay, so any questions about, let me draw one picture first. That in this case, since this is calc area, if I have names, let's draw this, make sure you understand this. If I have my name, like I do up here, I have length, I have width, and I have room area. So when I call this guy with length had, what do I have, 5 and 5, okay? So this guy got copied. So the first guy's passed by value, so this guy gets a copy of that, so it's 5. This guy gets a copy of that, so it's 5. Area got what? So we got the address of room area. So when I calculated area here, where did the 25 go? It went right there. Okay, now I have another option here. Don't leave me.
So what about if instead of, do I have another option besides calling calc area? Could I make another kind of function? I'm going to make another function, and I'm going to call this guy area. So how's that going to look different? What does this mean in front of it if it doesn't have a verb? Yeah. So what kind of function is this? Value returning. Do I need this guy now? Everybody understand the difference between this void function that puts the answer in the third argument and this value returning function that returns the answer. Okay, so then what's the difference in the call? So I'm now going to say area, and what do I need to do with this call to area? Why is this call to area wrong? What's wrong with this call to area? I either have to store it, use it, or print it. Okay? So one thing I could do is I could plug this right in. Do you see the difference between, let's make sure you see those. Does everybody see the difference? Let's look carefully at the difference between these two functions.
The first one's better because I can plug it in. So if I'm doing something mathematical, and I'm only returning one value, then I probably want to use the value returning function. But I can't do a return of 2 guys or 3 guys. So I have no choice in that case. Does everybody see that? So in general, for a mathematical function that I'm returning a single value, use the area. That's more general purpose. Does that make sense to everybody?
Now, what about if I want to write a function called get dimensions? And this is one of your homework problems. And I want this job right here, where I enter the length. Since I'm doing this twice, I think, well, that's redundant. See how I'm doing the same 2 lines twice? Let's move those lines to a function. What type of function should this be? But this won't work, so what do I need to do in this case? Because the goal of get dimensions, it needs to be passed by reference. So I'm going to change this to, and now, first of all, the advantage of this is if I want to do any checking of these numbers, I can do it all in here. I can say, if they're negative, I can ask again. Do you know what I mean? I've kind of moved that task down here. But we said both of these guys need to be passed by reference. Does everybody see the difference between pass by value and pass by reference? Because now you should see the big difference between a value returning function and when to use it, which I think you asked me to begin with, between putting that as your third argument, which sometimes is appropriate, but I can always use a value return. It's a very general thing. The other thing with value returning is we tend to avoid proof statements in here. I don't want to see out statement inside a mathematical function. I want to decide what I want to print. I don't want the function to be doing some weird printing for me. Okay? So it just does the calculation and that's it. They're short and sweet. So to make sure you understand this, I have some practice, and of course this is on the syllabus as everything is. So I want everybody to go ahead and do all the questions for that first problem right there. And this will be the type of question that I will ask on a quiz. You want to confer with your neighbor, go ahead, but I want you to tell me what the output is for this first problem on the parameter practice.
1 and 2, right? I mean, please, guys, right? Okay. So then now the trick, now where am I seeing the next part? What's the parameter passing method? Pass by value. So what happens when X and Y go to A and B? We'll see if you're paying attention or if you get this. The actual is copied to the formal. So draw that picture like I did. So if X has a 1, what does A get? 1. If Y has a 2, what does B get? Okay? So what's the next output? No. 4. The first output is 1 and 2. Promise me you have that. Everybody has 1 and 2. Good. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Thank God. Okay. Now, when we get to do crazy stuff, what is A and B initially? Yeah, so don't make it 3 and 4 yet, right? Okay? So it's 1 and 2, right? Now, who are you changing to 3 and 4? A and B, okay? So then the next output should be 3 and 4. Don't be unsure, right? 3 and 4. A and B are 3 and 4.
With 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Uh-huh. So now where do we go when we're done this function? After we call this function, where do we go? When we get here, where do we go? Back to this call right here. This is not tricky. Okay, our variable is uncertain, okay? So we come back to main, and what is x and y at this point? It's still 1 and 2. So pass by value, I can change a million things in there, but I'm only changing the copy. Does that make sense? Okay, cool? All right, good. All right, so then let's mix it up.
Let's change one of these guys to pass by reference and do the second problem. Which, wait, I changed both. Sorry, both. So let's change both to pass by reference. All I have to do is put an ampersand here and an ampersand here, and then I want you to tell me the output. So I want you to give me all 4 outputs again, and see if you got it right.
First one, I want to clearly see 4 lines of output in the order it's supposed to be. So out to the right of your paper, put the actual output. That's all I'm going to look at. Okay, so did everybody get 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4? Okay? Let's see why. So in main, and I'm big on pictures, not beautiful ones, just, okay, so the first thing that happens is x is 1 and y is 2. So the very first line of this program is what? 1 and 2. So the first output is 1 and 2. Now I call do crazy stuff. It's passed by reference, so can you scoot up? It's passed by reference, so do crazy stuff. A gets the address of x, B gets the address of y, but so it's still 1 and 2. The C out, this is the second C out, A and B. When I first start this function, A is 1 and B is 2. Okay? Everybody understand the second line of output? Haven't done anything to anything. Okay? Now I change A to 3, but I'm not, since I have the address of x, I'm actually changing it. And since I have the address of y, I'm actually changing y. So the third line of output, right here, is A is 3 and B is 4. Does everybody get that? So 3 and 4. When I get to the last line of do crazy stuff, where do I go? Back up to this C out. And x and y are 3 and 4.
Now I'm calling the function. It's passed by value, so A gets a copy of x, which is, what's x?
1.
B gets a copy of y, which is
2.
2. So this guy is going to print what? 1 and 2. I'm going to change A to 3 and B to 4, so this guy is going to be 3 and 4. When I come back up to this guy, I only had a copy, I did not change them, so they are still 1 and 2. I can pick and choose what I want to be passed by value and passed by reference. One can be passed by value, one can be passed by reference. So go ahead and finish up the 2 problems on the back, where in the first one, x is passed by reference. Actually, there's a little bug on this sheet. So in the first guy, x has an ampersand and a has an ampersand. On the second guy, y has an ampersand and only b does. All right, so go ahead, see if you really understand this, and figure out the output. So here's the first one. Only x has the ampersand and a has an ampersand. So that, by definition, tell me what's happening. A is passed by what? And B is passed by? All right, so see if you can give me the output for this.
What does A get? but tell me what it really is. The address of X. The address of X. B gets 2. But it is going to be 1, 2. The second output is going to be 1, 2. Right? And the third output is going to be what? It's the last one that's to see if you understand. So, since B is passed by value, I can tell without looking at this problem, this is what, that Y is definitely going to stay at what? And X, on the other hand, changed to, does that make sense? Can you kind of draw the picture? Draw the picture. Okay, so let me do it. So here's problem number 3. Alright, so X and Y are 1 and 2. There's no change there. Draw the picture. You have to draw the picture. I've been doing this for a million years and I still draw the picture. Okay, the idea is to, I'm trying to really test your knowledge. You're not going to be able to eyeball it. Okay? So X is 1, Y is 2. First output is 1 and 2. Don't give away those 2 points. Okay? I now jump to do crazy stuff. X, A gets what? What does A get? But more importantly, what does it get? The address of X. B gets what? Copy of what? So the next output is 1, 2. Okay? I change A to 3, which means I really changed that guy to 3. I change B to 4. So of course I'm going to get 3, 4 for the next output. When I return back up, Y did not change, but X did because it was passed by reference. So do the last one. And in this case, I made the second guy pass by reference. Is that what everybody got? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 4. Okay? So hopefully this helps you understand pass by value, pass by reference, and the swap problem that we did yesterday. So the swap problem didn't work if there was, so first of all, how do I do a swap again? What do I have to do in order to do a swap? Add a third variable. But this did not work if I did pass by value because what does A get when I call swap? It gets a copy of what's in X. It cannot change X and Y. So in order to make this problem work, I had you put in here, you said, yeah, the values got in, and yeah, it did swap. But in order to make it work, what did I have to do, and why? Make it pass by reference so that it didn't just change locally, so that it actually changed X and Y because it had a copy of it. Does everybody understand the swap problem better now that we've talked about this? Okay, so let me show you another type of problem. Let's say that I want to make let's do this. It's called double X. So if I want this guy to work, should I make this pass by value or pass by reference? So I'm going to read in an X, and I'm going to call double X. So answer me this. When we did swap, we kind of did with this guy. Is this guy coming in? Am I expecting X to come in? Am I expecting X to go out? Or am I expecting X to do both? Both. So that means that it should be passed by reference. Okay? If we go back to the slides, which is where I stopped, okay? If a guy is in only, if a guy is coming in and it's not being changed, that tells us we need pass by value. We don't need to change anything. Okay? If I'm sending actual argument, I keep saying it wrong. If I'm sending an actual argument in, I don't want to change, then it's passed by value. If I'm sending an actual argument in, out, meaning I'm sending it in, I want it changed, and I want it out, or I just want it out, then it's passed by reference. Okay? So then, since you think you understand it,
if I want to write something called, I'm going to write a get dimensions, which we already did, I just want to make sure you understand it. And I want to write a print dimensions, which is in and which is at. Which should be passed by reference. Claudia? I'm sorry, just come here.
The get dimensions?
Yes. This guy, they are being, length and width are being passed what? Out of the function. Out of the function. Well, mostly out. There's no value per se in get dimensions when I start this. Okay? Print dimensions, which I also spelled wrong, is the arguments are being passed in and they're not being changed. So here's my piece of advice. If you find that tricky, just remember, if you want the actual argument changed, you have to use pass by reference. So if the in or out in, is crazy for you, if I want the actual argument to be changed, it must be sent pass by reference. I want the actual argument to be changed, it must be passed by reference. So now, okay, here's the deal. You've got the tools, all right? But let me show you a couple of little idiosyncrasies. Did you notice that my swap used A and B here, but used X and Y up here? That's fine. The prototype names do not matter. All that matters is the type. They're actually ignored by the compiler, okay? Let me ask you another question. So forget the pass by reference. Is it okay to have a variable X here? What is the scope of this X? Tell me the scope of this variable. Let's say the full word. Local to me, right? Okay? What is the scope of this X? Local to swap. What is the scope of that X? What a mess, huh? Now this is fine. Every function's going to have their own X, that's peachy keen, okay? In your life as a computer scientist at Towson, most teachers will never allow you to use a global variable, okay? Why are global variables dangerous? Well, here's a reason right now. In this case, if I wanted to change X, if I did this, which X am I changing? Do I remember this? Charity begins at home. I'm only changing the local guy. Okay? So, could I change the global guy? Not here. I just made the global guy invisible. First of all, naming X, using a global variable is generally dumb. Naming a global variable X is really dumb. Right? Okay? So we don't want to do that. So global variables are dangerous because not only can everybody see them, but everybody can what? Change them. Now it's okay to make a constant global. Whatever. Why is it okay to make that global? Why is that not dangerous? So, and I don't want anybody to change. Nobody can change it. So I'm just being nice when I share a constant. Do you know what I mean? Okay, here's pi, you don't have to go look it up again. So it's okay to make a constant global because they cannot be changed. But we want to, this is bad. Don't put this in your notes. Let me right here. This is bad. Okay? All right, now, the next thing you need to do, and let's try this. I'm going to get you started on this. Is make a big program, okay? So, because guess what? They're not going to hire you to write little tiny things called get dimensions and print dimensions. That would be nice, but that's not going to be your job, okay? So I want you to look at the following problem. I think it's this guy. Yeah, all right, so this is a good one to start. Now this is the type of problem that I'm going to give you for the quiz, okay? This is a semi, not big program, but large-ish program that I'm going to ask you to describe what the modules are. I'm going to give you space for each of the modules, and then you're going to functions, and then you're going to write each of the functions. Okay? So start off in this case by writing the hierarchy chart for this problem.
All right, so draw the hierarchy chart for this. Show me the hierarchy chart. This is how you always should start. This is what I'll ask you in a quiz also. Now we're going to have Tuesday to go over this. But we need practice with this. Again, my job is not to teach you how to write, calculate area. My job is to teach you to write programs, okay? So write a hierarchy chart for this, and then write main as a loop with nothing but function calls. And then we'll write the functions later. You know what I mean? So what are the functions we need here? I've told you. We need 1, 2, 3 plus main. So write the hierarchy chart, and then start with main. And main should always have what? A loop. Main should always have a loop. Okay, so give it a name, like convert temperatures on the first guy. I don't know what the fourth guy is. There should be 3 below, right? We've got something for input Celsius, we've got something to convert to Fahrenheit, and something to print whether it's speed. I told you one is void, one is value returning, and so just give it a name. Make up 3 names. I actually make up 3 names. So what's the first block on the left? What's the first void function? Input self-temp. Right? Something like that, okay? Input self-temp. What's the second function? What's the value returning function? Fahrenheit convert, something like that. Good. That's good. And what's the third one? Print board, whatever. Something like that. Okay? Now write main. And then, okay, so wait a minute. What goes in the top? So this guy goes away. What are we going to call this program? Convert temp or something, or process temp. I don't know. Who cares? Just don't call it main. Process temp, by the way. Okay, so now write main. And where should you start in main? With your loop. While what? It's a sentinel. While temp is not equal to negative 999. That's your while. That's your test step. Skip some space, right?
While temp not equal to 999, and didn't I have it? Let's call it. I'm not doing it. I'm calling my guy. I'm going to write my guy later. I'm just calling the guy or the girl. Okay? Now, my action step is going to be a value returning call to. Did I call the other guy Fahrenheit temp? And then am I going to pass the Fahrenheit temp? What am I passing? Celsius temp, right? And then what is the whole goal of this thing? What did I call that other function? Wasn't it called print sport or something? And what does print sport get as an argument? And what's my restart step? What type of function is this? Void or value returning? What 2 lines of code probably? What are the 2 lines of code that are going to go into this function? C out and under temperature, C in temperature. That's it. Functions you can be sure. What is she going to go in here? Fahrenheit temp equals whatever that formula is, remember that, whatever that conversion is, and what's the last line of Fahrenheit temp going to be? What kind of function is this? Value returning, so it needs to have a return. Cool? We're going to write this, and just like in our head before we, okay? This guy's going to have what in it? It's going to have an if. If temps this, for swimming, or for golfing, blah, blah, blah. Okay? All the stuff we've written in previous stuff, okay? And that's it. All you have to do is get these guys, pass by reference, the prototype, the arguments, and there's your program. So if you see, we're taking all the same things, and we have the ability to solve larger problems. This is what I'm looking for. The ability to take a larger problem, break it into pieces, use all the things we've talked about,
path by value, path by reference, void, value determined, then you're writing program.